Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Supernatural Podcast. This is the very first episode, which is titled Pilot. The synopsis of this is two brothers witness their mother's paranormal death and are trained to fight by their father, who aims to hunt down the thing that killed his wife. Main star, we have Jared as Sam, Jensen as Dean. Guest stars are Jeffrey Dean Morgan as John Winchester, Samantha Smith as Mary Winchester, Rhys Khan as Troy, director David Nutter, and writer Eric Kapik. So, as you guys may or may not know, Jensen has a little bit of ties with the CW whenever the Supernatural premiered. He was on the very hit TV show Smallville. He played Jason on there for one season, and then after that, obviously, we saw where he ended up going, which is with Supernatural. So, two completely different characters, but he nails both roles so far from what I've seen from the first episode. For those of you that do not know, I've never seen a single episode of Supernatural. I decided to watch it, but decided, hey, you know what? When I watch it, I'm going to review it. And, this really inspired me from one of my favorite podcasts. It's called Talkville with Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling, where they go back and rewatch episodes of Smallville and talk about it. The only thing is, I was not on Supernatural. And yeah, really, I wasn't on Supernatural, and I don't have all the famous guest stars like they get. But I thought it'd be cool, to watch each episode and then talk about it, review it, and just basically, tell you my thoughts on it. So the episode opens with a very heartwarming scene of, Mary Winchester sitting there tucking in Sam, as we find out is Sam as a baby, sharing a moment filled with love and warmth. It sure was. Just that opening scene, just you can tell it was a happy family. Sam was there, Dean was there, Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character was there. They're all a very happy family, you can tell. But the tranquility is shattered as the supernatural intrudes into their lives. A terrifying event unfolds as Mary Winchester witnesses paranormal activity in Sam's nursery, leading to her tragic demise. So she's sitting there, walking into the nursery. She sees a figure that looks like John, which was Jeffrey Dean Morgan's character. And he goes, shh, which was a moment to where, as a mom, you would think, okay, he's just saying he doesn't want the baby, to get woken up or anything like that. As she goes downstairs, she actually sees John sitting on the chair. And she freaks out, runs back upstairs to Sam's nursery. She screams. So John rushes in to the nursery, sees Sam just laying there in the bed, all covered up and cuddled up. He smiles at him. Then he feels some blood drip on his hands. As he looks up into the ceiling, he sees his wife up there dead, just completely dead, with blood coming out of her. And then the whole ceiling catches on fire. So John is freaking out, Unfortunately, he wasn't able to prevent Mary's death. So it leads to a very lasting scar, on the Winchester family as he hands Sam to Dean and they rush outside. And that moment, Dean obviously witnessed his mom die. He witnessed all this tragic event that was happening, and it was very, very sad. For a child to have to witness that. So we're going to fast forward to present day. Dean and Sam, they're adults leading separate lives. Sam is focused on his academic achievements. He's doing very well. Basically talking about getting scholarships so that way he can go into law school and have a full ride and everything like that. On the other side, Dean, is in the family business of hunting supernatural beings like his dad, John. But however, a mysterious disappearance forces them back together as John went out for a hunt and they haven't heard from him in 3 weeks. Dean eventually convinces Sam, I want you to join me on the search for their missing father. They knew that he was on a hunt. They knew that he was out doing something big. But Dean's biggest thing was he has not heard from his father at all. So, Sam's got a girlfriend and all that, and he just tells her, hey, I'm, going to go with my brother, and we're going to see if we can find my dad, because they said that They were trying to find his dad. Sam's girlfriend has no idea that what their family is or what they've done or anything like that. As they, delve deeper into their father's disappearance, they encounter eerie occurrences that hint at like a force of play. The brothers encounters a series of killings linked to a legend surrounding a vengeful spirit, which was the woman in white. They noticed this town that they were in, Jericho, California, which is where their father was. There was a woman that she went to the bathroom. Her 2 kids were drowned in there. She freaks out and she jumps off a bridge and kills herself. But their investigation leads them to a small town, which was in Jericho, California, where they uncover clues about, their father's whereabouts. Not really worrying about the attention and danger, but, that's who they are. As hunters, they don't really care, about the danger and all that, because they know what they're going to have to do. They know being hunters, they're going to come face to face with some very fearful creatures, as I guess we should say, like that, because, supernatural beings is ghosts and demons and all kinds of stuff like that. Like I said, and this is the only first episode, and we've already encountered a ghost, which was the woman in white. As they're on a bridge, they see the woman standing on the side of the bridge, and she jumps off. And they go rush over there really quick. As they turn around, they see Dean's car turn on by itself, as Dean holds his keys to Sam, being like, I have the keys. It was the woman in white that was driving the car, but you couldn't see her in there. As she chases both the brothers down the road, they both jump off the side of the bridge. As Sam is hanging on the side, Dean actually falls into the water and gets all muddy. So, unfortunately, Dean did not be able to get it. But yeah, as all this stuff was, happening, their bond, you can tell that they have a very strength of their bond as brothers and as hunters. Unfortunately, towards the end, the woman in white is actually taking over Sam, and Sam's like, you can't hurt me because I'm not unfaithful. And the woman in white insists that he will be unfaithful, so she starts kissing him, and then she starts having that pretty much gives her the access, like he's now automatically unfaithful. He wasn't trying to kiss her back, but she puts like her hands through his chest and it's clawing and all that, and he drives straight through the house and says, you know what, if you want to go home, here we are. Whenever they drive through the house, the woman in white gets out, looks up to the stairs, and she sees the 2 kids that drowned, her kids, are sitting there saying, come home. They reappear behind the woman in white, grab her, and that pretty much separates her, destroys the spirit. Basically, let's just do that. We'll say all that. So as they're done all that, Dean makes a joke about, you better not hurt my car, because Dean absolutely cares about this car more than anything, which I think is funny. And they're on their way back, and Dean's talking about going to do another thing. Sam's like, I can't. Dean's like, yeah, I know. We got to get you back for your interview. And, Sam, you can tell he feels bad because he didn't want to leave his brother behind. But this interview was really, really important to him. But however, though, with them destroying, the first, spirit as we've seen in this episode, it comes at a cost, unfortunately, as Sam's personal life is once again haunted by the tragic events of his past. Sam doesn't really remember because he was a baby, but, the episode, concludes with a chilling moment where Sam's girlfriend meets a fate very similar to his mother, and, like, basically the exact same. Sam gets her, hears the shower running in his apartment, he lays back to relax, the blood drips on him, he looks up and sees his girlfriend on the ceiling, dead, just absolutely dead. And then the whole ceiling catches on fire and the apartment catches on fire, exactly how it happened to his mom. So Sam embraces his destiny as a hunter, signaling the beginning of a new chapter in the Winchester legacy. As Sam gets ready, like the scene you see him loading up a gun, telling Dean, we're going to go do this. Sam is ready now. what kind of threw me off about this, Sam wasn't crying. He wasn't. He was kind of shocked at first, but there was like no emotion. Like this woman he was talking about, Marion, wanted to spend the rest of his life with, and he just watched her burst into flames, and he's just sitting back, like, I'm gonna go find this thing that killed her. Regardless of the situation, I would have been sad. I would have probably been crying if I wanted to spend the rest of my life with this woman. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense to me, if you ask me. But it was a good episode. It blended a lot of elements of horror, suspense, family drama to create a captivating narrative. The pilot definitely sets the stage for a thrilling journey filled with supernatural encounters, emotional depth, and enduring bond of the brotherhood. So I'm very excited to see how this plays out, how this is going to go. Very excited. I'm excited for the quest that they're going to go on and to see what other type of creatures that they're going to come face to face with, to see what other type of demons are they going to find their dad and all that stuff. So I'm very excited about this because I'm a big horror fan, for one. So I absolutely love horror. I love horror movies, anything that's related to horror, and I feel like this show is very horror related. Because this whole episode, it had a little bit of everything in it, action, horror, suspense, comedy. That's something that you really don't find much in TV shows now, or especially at the time that this show came on. They were probably, rolling the dice, taking a risk and all that, because they were basically competing with Smallville. Smallville was CW's biggest hit shows. This is before the whole Arrowverse stuff, like The Flash and Arrow and all that was on. And, they had big shoes, not to like fill, but kind of like follow. Like, hey, can we make another hit show? Supernatural actually ended up going on, lasting longer than Smallville. Smallville went on for 10 seasons, and Supernatural, I want to say, let's see here, it went on for 15 seasons, so 15 years Supernatural went on. That is absolutely insane, but also at the same time, it must be a good show, and obviously, this is going to be a long podcast because 15 years of me trying to catch up to this show and watch it. It's going to be very interesting to see. I'm hoping as this show goes on and progresses, probably will never happen, but it'd be cool, if I could get at least one person that was in Supernatural, obviously not Jensen or Jared or anybody like that. Maybe the show gets big enough, you never know. But someone that was small enough, maybe they want to come on here and talk about their time on Supernatural, and also other guest stars, other Supernatural fans. If you guys are Supernatural fans, be sure to, on YouTube, MTK411 is my channel on there. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, awesome. Comment below. Tell me that you're a fan. I will find out. Like, if you want to be in an episode of the podcast as a guest star, all you got to do is comment and let me know. I will find a way to reach out to you, and we will find a time to schedule an episode, or, 2 or 3 or 4, or even maybe become a regular in the series of the podcast. It's really fun. It's interesting to do stuff like this. And watching this show was really cool, especially since it was my first time ever seeing it and just recapping it. So we're doing a thing that I'm going to be doing. So fireballs are good. Ice balls are not good. And then just the middle-ish. I'm trying to think of a word that we could put it. A swoosh, like a water swoosh, is like a medium. So 1 fireball means it was good. 2 fireballs means it was better than good. 3 fireballs means it was a fantastic, great episode. Obviously, basically the opposite with the ice balls. 1 ice ball is bad. 2, really bad. 3, I would never watch this episode again. And a swoosh, it's just, it was okay. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I was just neutral with it. So as a pilot for an episode of the show, you always want to set that bar super high to get everything going and get the feel for everything, let everybody know, like, hey, this is what the show is, this is what the show is going to be about, all kinds of stuff like that. And I feel like this episode did that. I really do. It kind of introduced you to the family at the beginning and what happened. I would have liked a little bit more, and it may come as time goes. I feel like the death scene was really rushed. I feel like you got like a full 3 or 4 minutes. And the first part, you didn't know about anything. Like, was John Winchester, was he a hunter before his wife died? And that's why she died, because maybe something he was hunting? Or did it just an occurrence happen, and then what that occurrence made him become a hunter? There's all kinds of stuff that it didn't really fill in. But like I said, it could be doing it later on in the other episodes, and that's why they didn't. But I feel like the first part of the show was rushed. But this is a good episode, It was, like I said, it had everything in it that you would expect for an episode, and especially for a pilot to be. It was good. I enjoyed it a whole lot. So I'm going to give the first episode a fireball. So it was good. It wasn't great. It wasn't better than good, but it was good. I enjoyed it. It drew me in. The whole suspense and mystery thing. I like the fact that Dean and Sam had fake marshal badges that kind of got them into the crime scene a little bit, even though the cops are kind of suspicious about it at first. Like, hey, these guys are a little young to be marshals, but they kind of played it off, and they got some information that they needed. So it was kind of cool that, they did some stuff like that. And building the brotherhood, building the bond between these two characters, to me, it was a good casting call. Jared and Jensen as brothers in this show, I feel like go really well together. They really give you that brotherly feel. They really are brothers. So I did like that aspect. It was good, very good casting for that. I'm going to do a thing on here that is a favorite scene. Did I have a favorite scene from this episode? Actually, I'll always have a favorite scene. My favorite scene from this episode, though, looking back at it, it's kind of hard to really say there was a favorite scene for a horror show, but the ending scene was kind of cool. Sam's right there all, hurt, mad, upset, and you just see him loading the gun, and he's telling his brother, basically giving them okay, you know what, we're going to go kick some ass. That's exactly how I feel, and to me, that whole scene was actually kind of cool. If I had to pick a favorite scene from this episode, it would definitely be that one, just because that moment you can feel the intense, the tension getting built up. You can tell that Dean's character is excited that his brother's agreeing to actually go with him. So, to me, that was my favorite scene, And like I said, this is a good episode. I really enjoyed it. I really liked it. What did you guys think? For all you Supernatural fans out there that watch this show, that are fans of the show, or maybe you died off and weren't fans anymore. But if you did watch the pilot episode, what did you guys think about it? Did you like it? Did you hate it? Did you just think it was okay? There was anybody first time they watched the episode, oh god, I could tell this is gonna suck. For me, there are moments like that. Normally, I'll watch an episode of a show, and if I'm like, God, this show sucks, I may give it 1 or 2 more episodes, but if it does not draw me in, I do not watch it. Supernatural, I'm watching it regardless, whether if I like it or hate it, just because that's the whole point of this podcast. But the first episode drew me in, wanting to figure out what happened to, what killed, the Winchester's mom, and what killed Sam's girlfriend. Obviously, it was the same creature, demon, ghost, whatever it was, because they both died the exact same way. So therefore, I know that it was definitely the same thing. Possibly. So, we'll find out, and I'm excited to watch episode 2. I plan on doing, 2 to 3 episodes a week. I may even do an episode every day. Probably not with work schedule, but I do plan on shooting for 2 to 3 episodes a week for this podcast. I hope you guys do enjoy this podcast. I hope you guys, get into it. And, I'm always up for suggestions. What can I do to make this podcast better? I'm down for reviews. Full criticism is what I need for this podcast, so I know what to improve on and all that. Thank you guys so much. On YouTube, thank you for watching and listening. On the Spotify, thank you for listening to this podcast. You guys are amazing. Thank you for letting me do something new and unique and supporting this. You guys are awesome. I hope everyone has a great day. Much love, everybody. Peace.